Hello, Fun Nation. My name is James, checking in here at the first championship with Team 5460 Strike Zone. Incredible Michigan team, finalist at the entire Michigan State Championship, and just a really awesome robot this year. Most teams chose either a dumper or a turret. Strike Zone was the madman that did both, and you won't want to miss it today. This episode of Behind the Bumpers. With me, I have Zane, Connor, and Michael. Let's find out more on the Fun Robotics Network. All right, Zane, why don't you get us started? Let's talk about this incredible turreted dumper you have here.
Yeah, so we have a turret dumper, obviously. It goes plus or minus 20 degrees. And our design process for it was kind of a lengthy process that we did. So we had our needs, wants, and maybes as a team, where we actually tried prototyping kind of with chairs and just balls on different robots and designs and processes we could do. And we figured with those needs, wants, and maybes that we wanted a turret and drum, and we wanted it 3 wide balls. So originally we did start with 2 balls, and we just didn't get the throughput we wanted. So we ended up processing more balls, and it just worked out great, over time, and we kept it that way since. So
it's a cool iteration. Can we walk through a little bit more of the actual turret and mechanism? Let's try to get the camera in there.
Yeah.
How is that working for you guys?
So we have a conveyor system that feeds into our turret with rollers. This roller system feeds into here. We have a flywheel here that kind of balances all of the systems here. And I mean, yeah, it's pretty simple. This turret actually goes up and down to get more degrees of freedom if we're being defended on. So,
and then you have the kind of like the lazy Susan down there that's actually doing the turreting.
Yeah.
Or how are you guys actuating that, I guess?
So the turret rotations actually ran by, on that side, we have a gear on a motor, and we have
I think
these
this one right
laser
here.
cut teeth on an aluminum thing that mounts to the whole rotation thing, and it just rotates it.
Really cool.
Before we get to our next segment, we'd like to thank the following. Kettering University's cutting-edge programs in their experiential co-op model seamlessly blend the professional and academic worlds, offering hands-on, feature-focused learning that empowers students to pursue new ideas and inspires other institutions to follow their lead. Don't just be ahead of the curve, create the curve. Get more information at kettering.edu/first.
So as we did that, we also expanded the hopper here. And Connor, I'd love to talk a little bit more about your intake, your expandable hopper, climber, all this other cool subsystems you have.
I'll go over what we have right now, and then I'll go over iterations. So what we have now is we kind of have this fold out intake. So it'll start like this, and then fold out in the match. So we switched to this because our original rack and pinion design, it just kept shearing whenever it hit anything, and it was like a lot of wasted Lexan, as
Makes
you could
sense.
say. Yeah. It was not fun cutting all those plates. So yeah, this one's a lot more robust. We also added this big bar in the front of it, so it can take a hard beating. And originally, on the sides we had Lexan plates, and we switched to SSRP,
Nice.
and they take way more of a beating.
Makes sense.
Before we get to our next segment, we'd like to thank the following. FRCT's Managed Store Program is an easy and profitable way to fundraise for your team or off-season event. FRCTs will handle everything from production, packaging, bulk or drop shipping, payment collection, and accounting. Teams can set their own prices, and FRCTs will take care of the rest. Fill out a quote request or get more information when you schedule a callback at frcts.com.
So I'm also curious, you have this expandable hopper here. Do you guys always have that? Something you guys changed throughout the season? What did that look like?
Well, at our second competition, we just had this, we had like a short hopper that was just like 3 Lexan plates on our rack and pinion. And we just had this same netting on top of it. And that's all we had for it.
Okay, gotcha. So you added that for states or for your second competition or somewhere in there?
This one, we added for states. Our just normal net, we had at Saline, I think it was.
Okay, perfect. Very cool. And I'm curious also to look at, have you guys prototyped how different mechanisms of feeding? I know you guys have the roller floor. What did that process look like for y'all?
For prototyping, so we had like 5 groups split up, and I actually ran the group for the roller that we had. We started off with 2 wooden plates, a bunch of aluminum hex shafts mounted across, and it kind of looked actually really similar to this, and we tested different roller placements. It's what's gonna make the balls go through faster? And then we had another prototype going that was a kind of a spindexer thing, and it got 8 balls a second, and we're like, I don't know about this.
Right.
Yeah, so we ended up going with this one. We messed around with it a lot. but
Yeah. Well, very cool, Connor. I appreciate it. I would like to talk a little bit more about programming now, Michael. Let's walk through some of the cool things you guys are doing for controls.
Okay, so to talk about programming, I want to bring it back to last year. The joke was that the robot just drove itself because we had 2 buttons that we ever pressed. Player station that drove to the player station, and score that just scored on the reef. And so this year we decided to go as automated as possible because as much as I am a goated driver, I'm just so good. Computers are more consistent.
Yeah.
So we wanted to do as much automation as possible. Originally the plan was to just constantly shoot when we were in our zone, but then we went for the turreted dumper instead of just a turret, so we didn't end up doing that. But throughout the course of a match, I mainly only press 2 buttons, intake and shoot. We have limelights mounted on the front on the turret and 2 on the side, so that pretty much anywhere we are we can see some April tags. And so if I press shoot when I'm in the alliance zone, it'll aim at the hub and score. And if I'm out in the neutral zone, it will just feed. So I only have 1 button for all shooting processes, as well as just a few other backups on the controller in case the limelights go down, which they do.
Nice. And is the limelight your only sensing perception, or you guys have any other sensors on this robot?
But we have a gyro somewhere in there, just a Pigeon 2. And we use the limelights to update our position and just use dead reckoning in the gyro so we know exactly where we are if the limelights ever can't see a tag. And we also have absolute encoders on the turret, so we really know where we are in that 40 degrees of freedom.
Important, right?
And then we also have an absolute encoder on the intake. Originally we didn't for our rack and pinion intake. I don't know if Connor went over the designs we used to have, but now it just knows where it is because we had some problems of it not being perfectly aligned and then trying to push out the entire match. Yeah, that's all our sensors we have.
Really cool. Michael, incredible programming and controls that goes into this robot, and an incredibly mechanical robot as well. 5460 Strike Zone, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us today. And thank you all so much for watching. My name is James for the Fun Robotics Network, signing off.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell to stay up to date on future fun videos. FRCT's Managed Store Program is an easy and profitable way to fundraise for your team or off-season event. FRCTs will handle everything from production, packaging, bulk or drop shipping, payment collection, and accounting. Teams can set their own prices, and FRCTs will take care of the rest. Fill out a quote request or get more information when you schedule a callback at frcts.com. Kettering University's cutting-edge programs and their experiential co-op model seamlessly blend the professional and academic worlds, offering hands-on, future-focused learning that empowers students to pursue new ideas and inspires other institutions to follow their lead. Don't just be ahead of the curve, create the curve. Get more information at kettering.edu/first.